Hey, it's Jess. Welcome back. Today I'm here with another Way Back Wednesday where I will be talking about all the books that I read in August of 2020. Looking back at my Goodreads, I read 4 books this month. 3 of them were new, first time reads, and one of them was a reread. The first book I read in August was The Institute by Stephen King, and this is one of his more recent novels. And it was in the horror section. It's kind of like a horror sci-fi. Like, if you like Stranger Things, you're probably going to like The Institute. I was reminded very much of Stranger Things while I was reading it. So, The Institute is about a young boy named Luke who is like a genius and is all set to go to school on a scholarship and things like that. But he's very young to be going to college. And then one night he is kidnapped and he wakes up in a room that looks like his room but is not his room, and finds out that he is in this facility with other children who have powers, and he discovers that he has powers too. He has telekinesis. And so basically you're not traveling, you're going along with Luke, living in this facility, trying to figure out why he's there and figure out what the government wants from these children and also what they're doing with these children, because they're using them for a nefarious plan that Luke is trying to discover. And he's trying to escape. And there are other characters. It's like a whole nother side story too, about a cop in a town. I really liked The Institute. I read it really quickly. I thought it was really interesting. A very cool story. I would definitely go back and reread that one. It was very good and very engaging. The second book I read was A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas, and this is the third book in the ACOTAR series. So you are still following Feyre, and she is in the Night Court now and goes back to the Spring Court to be with Tamlin, because they find out that Tamlin is up to something and she's trying to discover what he's up to. And then like a bunch of other stuff happens, but I don't want to talk too much about it because it's the third book in a series. There's 2 more books after this, which I will get to in another Way Back Wednesday video, because yes, I've read all the ACOTAR books. Still not my favorite series by Sarah J. Maas. I like the Throne of Glass series more, but I'm glad I read A Court of Mist and Fury. I'm glad I read A Court of Wings and Ruin. I did not like it as much as I liked the second one, which is A Court of Mist and Fury. The third book that I read was Gerald's Game by Stephen King. This was a reread for me. This is the second time I believe I've read this. There is also a Netflix adaptation of this book it's directed by Mike Flanagan, whom I love. And so Gerald's Game follows Gerald and Jessica. They are a married couple, and they are going up to their cabin in the woods in Upper Maine. But they're going at the off season. It's like the beginning. No, I think it's the end of the season. I read this book 4 years ago. Okay, it's been a hot minute. They're going up during the off season, so all the other cabins are empty. And Gerald wants to play a game, and Jessica is not really into it, but she goes along with it because she hasn't learned how to be a strong, independent woman. And so she is handcuffed to the bed, and then Gerald has a heart attack and dies. And she's stuck in this cabin in the woods in the off season where no one can hear her scream. And so she is struggling to get out of the handcuffs and save herself. But during this time, she is left with her thoughts, and you have flashbacks to something that happened to her when she was, I think she was like 12. And some trauma that she has. And there's another subplot too. But I thought the movie was a really good adaptation of it, because so much of the book is spent like in Jessica's mind that they did a really good job adapting that and showing that. I really liked this book. I'd like to read it again. It is different than some of his Stephen King's other things, but overall, I recommend it. I don't know. I liked it. I think about it a lot. There's definitely still parts of this book. And I remember I was reading it and I was talking to one of my best friends and I was like, I don't get scared very often, but there was this one part where they was like, she was so still and so scared and she turned and her like neck muscles felt like they were creaking. And I was like, I felt that in my brain. And I was like, oh, what is she going to see? What is happening? I don't know. I really got into it. So it definitely unsettled me. Still think about it a lot. There's certain scenes in that book that I'm just like, huh, when I think about them again. So I don't know. I really like that book. And the last book I read was Between the Blade and the Heart by Amanda Hocking. This is the first book in a duology, the Valhalla duology. I love Amanda Hocking's writing. I first found her many years ago, like 11 years ago, through her, I believe it's pronounced Trill, the Trill trilogy. And I've read a lot of her other books since then. So this book, Between the Blade and the Heart, follows Malin. She is a Valkyrie, and her job is to slay immortal beings and send them back to the underworld. And her mother is also a Valkyrie. She finds out that her mother did not end up slaying an entity that she was supposed to. And so then this man boy named Asher comes to Malin for help to slay this being because this being has slayed his entire family. And so it's her struggling with what is right, what is wrong. Is her mother who she thinks she is has my whole life been a lie? But it's like a young adult-ish. Yes, a lot of Amanda's. Yes, I found it in the young adult section at the library, but I had heard about it, and again, I love Amanda Hocking, so I picked it up. Really enjoyed this book. I would like to go back and read it again. Yeah, because it's been so long since I read it. So basically, almost all of these books I'd read again. I really recommend all of them. I had a really good month, I guess, in August of 2020. Only 4 books, but they were 4 pretty solid books. So, have you read any of these books? Let me know. What did you think? All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.